There goes the Amtrak, stopping at the Flagstaff station. Wonder if that's the same train I took to Chicago. But it is early morning of day 33 and I am leaving Flagstaff. And I'm back. This is the junction from before. So I came down this path and then I kept heading this way into Flagstaff. But now I'm going to be taking this one. Remember those cool cliffs? Right back there. So if I added up the miles to the hotel, so the connector trail and then walking to the hotel, it ended up being about 7 miles. So between yesterday and today, that was 14 miles of trail that did not count until, to getting to Utah. So good thing I've got over 500 miles of conditioning, otherwise I would have been pretty mad about that. But this area around Flagstaff is kind of weird because there's actually 2 Arizona trails. I was actually technically on the Arizona Trail going into Flagstaff. There's an alternate that just cuts through town, and then there is what I'm on now, which loops around town. So I was tempted just to cut through town, but I came here to walk the trail, so I'm going to walk the trail. And today I should be passing really close to a national monument. It's about a half mile off trail, so if I can get there in time and the weather's good, I'm gonna stop and see a national monument that I wouldn't be able to see if I took the shortcut. Alright, what the heck. The Arizona Trail itself goes this way, but Fisher Point Vista is only 0.1 mile this way. I think it's just right here. So I've already done a lot of off-trail hiking. If I make it to the National Monument, I'm going to do more off-trail hiking. So might as well go take a look at this. I had some views on the way up and I was able to actually see Flagstaff. I don't know if this point will show me that, but might as well check it out. You know what? I recognize this. That is that trail junction down there. That's where I started. So this right here is that trail junction. You can see the sign where I yesterday left the trail and then joined it. And then it came up here and I am on top of those really cool looking cliffs. I actually went to the bottom of this cliff because there was a cave. I did another little trip off trail to check out the cave. So yeah, I'm on top of the cool cliffs right now. Feels pretty badass. And let's see, I could see it earlier. I could see Flagstaff over here. Let me see if I can get the view again. You can actually see the town. Gonna be through the trees. Here it is. Through the trees. That's looking back at Flagstaff. So kind of a cool side trip. Really wasn't that far. And then I recognize that mountain in the back, kind of where the edge of these trees are, I think is the edge of the mesa where I was dodging those thunderstorms the other day. So nice side trip, not too far. Glad I stopped. And that was my big ascent for the day. There haven't been many ascents on this trip so far. I am gonna kind of go up that mountain north of Flagstaff, and that mountain's 12,600 feet, but the trail actually goes up to 9,000 feet. So after that, I think it's mostly flat until the Grand Canyon, which is actually my next resupply point in like 5 to 6 days, depending on what I encounter. Just another perspective of the trail. The trail's been pretty flat for a long time, just kind of walking the top of the canyon there. And then I actually, look at these views, dipped down into the canyon and then came up the other side. And I'm walking the side of the canyon. So it's nice to get a little bit of variety instead of, I enjoy flat, but it gets a little monotonous after a while. And I'm only a couple miles away from Walnut Canyon National Monument, so looks like I'll probably hit that today. probably hit it if it's not like a torrential downpour, but it's like 100% overcast right now. It's supposed to be 100% chance of rain today, but yesterday prediction was like crazy thunderstorms too. So again, can't trust the forecast, it's really fickle. So I'll just see when I get there and I get to that road what the weather's doing, and hopefully I can go see it. Alright, here it is. The trail crosses the road, but this is Walnut Canyon Road, and I'm going to take it to the right here and go check out the National Monument. The rain has abated for now. It looks like there's more coming this way, and the sun peeked out for a tiny bit. So this is an outdoor trail, and there's cliff dwellings here, which is the draw. So I'm hoping the weather abates long enough for me to go see those guys, and then it's back on the trail. I'm about to take the island trail. It's about a mile trail. There's this kind of island area in the middle of the canyon here, which we're looking straight at. I can actually see a tour group moving through the cliff dwelling areas. So I'm gonna go down and see some cliff dwellings. Heading down these stairs into the canyon, and you can get a better idea of why this is an island. It's just a rock in the middle of a canyon, and kind of looks like you can go pretty close to the dwellings. There's some over here. They're just all along the canyon here. Yeah, so this trail takes you right through them. So they use these natural overhangs and built walls around them. And these were the Sinagua people, which in Spanish is no water. They had to collect the water in the winter months and then store it, because this is a dry canyon. There's no springs or anything, but the cliffs kept them cool in the summer and then absorb the heat from the fire in the winter to help control temperature. I learned all this from a video. I'm not that smart. Oh, I learned this from the video too. You can still see the smoke from the fires. If you look out here, this is the rest of the canyon, and it's just lined with these cliff dwellings. Oh, look at this one. This one still has quite a lot of its walls. I'm gonna go in and take a peek. Video also told me that there was extensive looting here as well. And sometimes the looters would blast holes in the walls with dynamite to help them loot better, to help them see what they were doing. It's kind of dark in there. They're just rooms. Again, they've been looted, but this is extensive, and this is pretty cool. And again, you can see that black smoke from the fires. How cool would it have been to see all these dwellings in the cliff with the glow of the fires? That would have been pretty cool. The people only lived here like 100 years before they moved on. It's thought that maybe they ran out of resources. They used them all up. This is extensive. Wow. It's storming now. The Sinagua people would have loved this. I think this is what my rest of my day is going to be like. Eesh. I'm back on the trail, and it is raining. It's going to be a cold and wet afternoon. As you can see, it's foggy on the camera, and I'm approaching I-40, and you can hear the train too, so I'm near the train tracks. I'm going to make a decision either at the I-40 underpass or just past it, because I think there's actually a restaurant. This is pretty cold and pretty wet, and I'm hiking around an urban center. So I might be heading back into town for a hotel. You know, there's several more days of this. It seems silly to suffer near an urban center. I mean, there were tour groups, there was like school groups at the monument. So I'm gonna head a little further and make a decision. Okay, it's late in the day, or later in the day, and you can see just how low this cloud layer is. Like, you can't even see the mountains around here. And I am gonna get a hotel for the night. I mean, they're close enough. I'm headed to the junction with Highway 89. It's got restaurants and gas stations about 2.5 miles away from it, and it's got to get there before the temperature drops. Well, I've made it to the hotel, and that was actually a really cold afternoon. I got absolutely soaked, just thoroughly soaked. And when I got to where the trail crossed 89, I stopped at Mary's Cafe just to kind of get shelter and figure out how to get to the hotel and everything. And I was handed a towel because I was dripping, and I put my dry puffy on because I was shivering, and my dry puffy was then wet. So everything's drying out right now. I just took a nice warm bath, and so everything's good for tonight, and I have to kind of decide if I'm going to try to push through tomorrow and the next day, or if I'm going to wait out the storm system. Because coming up, I need to climb over mountains and go to 9,000 feet, and I don't have thermals or better waterproof gear. But everything's good for tonight, so that's the end of day 33, and just figure it out tomorrow.